I had, yeah. Not with the interest of making a film about it. I was just interested as a citizen.
At 88 years old, Robert Redford isn't just a Hollywood legend. He's also the owner of one of the rarest and most unique cars ever made. From Butch Cassidy to the Sundance Kid, he's built a career on timeless style and quiet confidence, and the car he drives today reflects that perfectly. So what kind of vehicle does a man like Redford choose after a lifetime of fame, family, and purpose? Join us as we uncover the story behind the car, the man, and the legacy. Roots of a Rebel. Robert Redford was born on August 18, 1936 in Santa Monica, California. His full name is Charles Robert Redford Jr., and he was the only child of Martha and Charles Redford Sr. His father worked as a milkman and later as an accountant for an oil company, while his mother stayed home to raise him. They lived a modest life, and though they didn't have much money, Redford has said he never felt poor. His family gave him love, and that meant more to him than material things. Growing up in a working-class home, Redford learned the importance of hard work and personal responsibility. His father was strict and expected discipline, while his mother was warm and encouraging, often supporting his creative interests. From a young age, Redford was drawn to art and storytelling. He loved drawing, painting, and going to the movies. He found comfort and excitement in the stories told on screen. These early experiences helped shape his imagination and later inspired his interest in filmmaking. However, Redford was not an easy child to manage. He had a restless energy and a rebellious streak. He often questioned authority and didn't always follow the rules. This behavior would follow him into his teenage years. He got into trouble in school, not because he wasn't smart, but because he didn't enjoy the traditional classroom structure. He wanted to explore the world on his own terms and hated being told what to do. Even as a boy, he showed signs of the independent thinker he would later become. Tragically, Redford lost his mother when he was just 18 years old. Her death had a deep impact on him. She had always believed in his talents, and her support had given him the courage to dream big. Losing her at such a young age left a hole in his life, but it also pushed him to take risks and follow his passions. Redford attended Van Nuys High School in Los Angeles, where he continued to struggle academically. He was often distracted and uninterested in schoolwork. After graduation, he enrolled at the University of Colorado, but his time there was short. He didn't take college seriously and was eventually expelled for poor academic performance and behavior issues. He later admitted that he spent more time drinking and partying than studying. After leaving college, Redford decided to travel. This was a turning point in his life. With no clear plan, he went to Europe and lived for a while in France, Spain, and Italy. During this time, he worked odd jobs and soaked up different cultures. He painted, visited museums, and spent time with artists. Being far from home allowed him to grow emotionally and creatively. He saw a world that was much bigger than what he had known in California, and it gave him a new perspective. While living in Paris, Redford studied painting at the École des Beaux-Arts. He was serious about becoming an artist and believed this could be his future. He was passionate about visual art and spent hours practicing and refining his skills. But eventually, he began to feel that something was missing. He enjoyed expressing himself visually, but he wanted a deeper connection with people. That's when he started to consider acting. After returning to the United States, Redford moved to New York City and enrolled in the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. There, he trained as an actor and learned the craft of performance. It was not an easy transition. He had no formal background in theater, and acting was a completely new world. But he was determined. He watched other actors closely, studied scripts, and pushed himself to improve. Slowly, he began to gain confidence. It wasn't long before he started landing small roles in television and theater. Redford's early years were marked by struggle, discovery, and constant change. Each challenge shaped his personality in a unique way. Being expelled from college could have been the end of the road for some, but Redford used it as a chance to break free from expectations. Traveling alone across Europe gave him a sense of independence and courage. He didn't take the easy path. He carved out his own. This spirit of nonconformity followed him into adulthood. He never liked being boxed in, whether it was in life, in Hollywood, or even in the roles he chose. He avoided the typical leading man path and looked for characters with depth and complexity. He also wasn't afraid to take a step back from fame to direct or support independent films. His founding of the Sundance Film Festival in 1981 is a clear example of his commitment to supporting voices that didn't always fit into mainstream Hollywood. And now that you know where Robert Redford came from, wait until you see how all of that shaped the way he lives and drives today. Hollywood stardom. Robert Redford didn't become a Hollywood icon overnight. His rise to fame started slowly with years of hard work and small roles. He first began acting on television in the late 1950s, appearing in various shows like Perry Mason, The Twilight Zone, and Alfred Hitchcock Presents. These early roles helped him gain experience and confidence in front of the camera. He had a striking presence and natural talent that caught people's attention, even in short scenes. Redford's big break came on the stage. In 1963, he starred in Neil Simon's Broadway play Barefoot in the Park as Paul Bratter, a newlywed trying to make a life with his free-spirited wife in a small New York apartment. His performance was full of charm, timing, and warmth. Audiences loved him. The play was a huge hit and ran for over 1,500 performances. Redford's stage success opened the door to Hollywood. He made his film debut in 1962 with War Hunt, but his career didn't take off immediately. For a few years, he was cast in supporting roles or played characters that didn't fully match his abilities. But that changed in 1967 when he reprised his role in the film version of Barefoot in the Park, this time opposite Jane Fonda. The film was a box office success, and Redford's performance made him a star. His on-screen chemistry with Fonda was electric, and audiences loved seeing a romantic comedy led by two actors who played off each other so naturally. 2 years later, in 1969, Redford's career reached new heights with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Starring alongside Paul Newman, Redford played the role of the Sundance Kid, a cool and skilled outlaw with a quiet intensity. The film was stylish, fun, and emotionally powerful. Redford's performance helped create a new kind of movie hero. Smart, sensitive, and slightly rebellious. It was a major success and turned Redford into one of the most in-demand actors in Hollywood. From that point on, he was a household name. After the success of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Redford went on to star in a series of hit films that defined his career and left a lasting mark on American cinema. In 1973, he reunited with Paul Newman in The Sting, a clever and stylish movie about two con men planning a big scam. The film won 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Redford's role as Johnny Hooker was sharp, funny, and full of energy. He was nominated for Best Actor, and the film became another massive hit. That same year, he starred in The Way We Were opposite Barbra Streisand. This romantic drama told the story of two very different people falling in and out of love. Redford played Hubble Gardner, a charming and laid-back writer whose relationship with a politically passionate woman couldn't survive their differences. The film was emotional and beautifully acted. It became a classic love story, and the chemistry between Redford and Streisand made it unforgettable. In 1976, Redford starred in All the President's Men, a film based on the real-life investigation by Washington Post reporters Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein into the Watergate scandal. Redford played Woodward, and Dustin Hoffman played Bernstein. The film was serious, tense, and important. It showed how journalism could expose corruption at the highest levels of power. Redford was also a producer on the film, and he made sure it stayed true to the facts. The movie was both a critical and box office success, and it helped strengthen Redford's reputation as someone who cared about meaningful stories. In 1985, Redford starred in Out of Africa with Meryl Streep. This sweeping romantic drama, set in Kenya, won 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Redford played Denise Finch Hatton, a mysterious and adventurous man who captures the heart of a Danish writer played by Streep. The film was beautifully shot and emotionally moving. It became one of Redford's most popular roles and added to his image as a thoughtful and complex leading man. Over the years, Redford earned many awards for his acting, but his biggest recognition came as a director. In 1980, he directed his first film, Ordinary People. The movie was a quiet, emotional story about a family dealing with grief after the death of a son. It was deeply human and beautifully directed. Redford won the Academy Award for Best Director, an incredible achievement for his first time behind the camera. The film also won Best Picture. This success showed that Redford was more than just a movie star, he was a serious filmmaker with something to say. In 2002, he received an honorary Academy Award for his lifetime contribution to film, recognizing not just his acting and directing, but also his efforts to support independent cinema and new voices in the film industry. Robert Redford's impact on Hollywood goes far beyond his acting. As a director and producer, he worked hard to tell meaningful stories and give chances to young filmmakers. He believed in the power of film to inspire and make people think. In 1981, he founded the Sundance Institute, a non-profit organization dedicated to supporting independent film and artists. One of its biggest achievements is the Sundance Film Festival, held every year in Park City, Utah. This festival has become the most important event for independent filmmakers in the world. It's where many well-known directors like Quentin Tarantino and Steven Soderbergh got their start. Redford wanted to create a space where fresh ideas and new talent could shine without pressure from Hollywood studios. Through Sundance, Redford helped bring powerful, creative, and original films to audiences who might never have seen them otherwise. He believed that movies didn't have to be big-budget blockbusters to matter. They just needed heart and truth. This commitment made him a hero to many young artists and helped change the movie industry. As a producer, Redford worked on many thoughtful and challenging films. He chose stories that mattered to him and supported projects that dealt with real-life issues. He wasn't afraid to take risks, and that made him a leader in independent film. By the 1970s and 1980s, Robert Redford was one of the most famous people in the world. His face was everywhere, and his name was associated with quality, style, and intelligence. But he handled fame with quiet dignity. He didn't chase the spotlight or seek attention. He valued privacy and stayed focused on his work. His influence wasn't just in movies. Redford helped shape American fashion with his rugged, natural style. He often wore simple clothes like denim, flannel, and leather jackets, reflecting his love for the outdoors and his down-to-earth attitude. This look became known as rugged Americana, and many people admired his effortless style. He made being casual and comfortable look cool. Redford also played a big role in what some call Hollywood's golden age, the 1970s, when studios were giving directors more creative control. He worked with some of the best filmmakers of the time and starred in movies that were smart, meaningful, and lasting. He helped show that film could be both art and entertainment. Even as he grew older, Redford remained a respected figure in the film industry. Young actors, directors, and producers looked up to him. He was a symbol of honesty, talent, and staying true to your values. He didn't just make movies, he helped change them for the better. Relationships and family. Robert Redford has lived a long and fascinating life in front of the camera, but behind the scenes, he's been a deeply private man. While millions have watched his movies, few know the details of his personal journey, his relationships, family life, and the values that have guided him. Redford has always believed that the most important parts of life don't happen in the spotlight. They happen quietly, with the people you love and the choices you make when no one's watching. Robert Redford met Lola Van Wagenen in Los Angeles in the late 1950s. She was a smart and thoughtful woman who shared his passion for art, culture, and social change. At the time, Redford was still finding his way, and Lola believed in his potential. The two got married in 1958 when Redford was just 22 years old. Their relationship lasted for nearly 3 decades. During their marriage, Redford and Van Wagenen built a family together. They had 4 children and raised them away from the chaos of Hollywood. While Redford's fame grew, Lola focused on her own work. She was a historian and activist who went on to co-found an organization called Consumer Action Now, which focused on environmental and social issues. She also earned a PhD in American history. Though Redford was often in the public eye, Lola remained grounded and involved in meaningful causes. Their relationship wasn't without challenges. As Redford's career skyrocketed, it became harder to balance work and family life. He once admitted that the pressures of fame and constant travel were difficult on their marriage. After 27 years together, the couple quietly divorced in 1985. Redford rarely spoke publicly about the split, out of respect for Lola and their children. Despite the separation, they remained respectful toward each other and continued to co-parent their children. Years later, Redford found love again with Sibylle Zaggers, a German-born multimedia artist. The two met in the 1990s and built a strong relationship based on shared values. Like Redford, Zaggers was passionate about nature and the arts. They spent years together before marrying in 2009 in a private ceremony in Hamburg, Germany. Zaggers has played an important role in Redford's later life. She is deeply committed to environmental awareness and uses her art to bring attention to climate change and the beauty of the natural world. Redford has supported her projects, and the couple often works together on events and causes they care about. Their relationship seems to be one of balance and mutual respect. As Redford has aged, Zaggers has been a steady presence, and the two have enjoyed a quiet life away from the spotlight. Robert Redford and Lola Van Wagenen had 4 children together: Scott, Shauna, David, and Amy. Redford has said many times that being a father was one of the most important parts of his life, but his journey as a parent came with deep sorrow as well as great joy. His first son, Scott, was born in 1959 but died tragically just 2 months later from sudden infant death syndrome. Redford was only 23 years old at the time, and the loss hit him hard. He later said that it was one of the most painful experiences of his life. The grief stayed with him and shaped the way he looked at the world. Losing a child so young made him more sensitive, more thoughtful, and more focused on protecting his family. His second child, Shauna, was born in 1960 and became a painter and artist. She has mostly stayed out of the public eye. David, born in 1962, followed in his father's footsteps and became a filmmaker and activist. Sadly, David passed away in 2020 after a long battle with liver cancer. He was a talented director known for thoughtful documentaries including The Big Picture, Rethinking Dyslexia. His death was another deep loss for Redford. Amy Redford, born in 1970, is also involved in film. She has acted, produced, and directed. Her 2008 directorial debut, The Guitar, showed her creative style and her own approach to storytelling. While Redford never pushed his children into the industry, he supported their interests and respected their independence. Redford has always tried to keep his family life private. He didn't want his children to grow up in the shadow of his fame. That's part of why he chose to live in Utah instead of Los Angeles. He believed that a quieter, more grounded environment would be better for raising a family. Redford spent as much time as he could with his children and supported them even when he couldn't always be home. Though he didn't often talk about fatherhood publicly, those close to him say he was a loving and devoted dad. He valued time with his kids and made sure they knew they were more important than any movie or award, more than a movie star. Throughout his life, Robert Redford has been more than just a movie star. He's also been an outspoken activist who cares deeply about the environment, civil rights, and justice. His beliefs have shaped many of his decisions, both in his work and in his personal life. Redford became involved in environmental activism in the 1970s. Long before it became a mainstream issue. He spoke out about the dangers of pollution, deforestation, and climate change. He supported efforts to protect public lands and national parks. One of his biggest causes was fighting against oil drilling in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. He also worked to support Native American rights, both through his activism and his film projects. He believed their stories were often ignored or misrepresented in Hollywood and wanted to help change that. His work with the Sundance Institute included programs that helped Native American filmmakers share their stories with wider audiences. These values have even influenced the kinds of cars Redford has driven over the years. While he has always appreciated classic American vehicles for their style and craftsmanship, he also became more interested in sustainable options as he got older. Friends and fans have noted that he supported hybrid and electric vehicles, especially as awareness of climate change grew. For Redford, a car isn't just transportation, it's a statement about how we live in the world. His choices often reflected a blend of practicality, elegance, and responsibility. He preferred vehicles that were well-made and timeless, but also cared about reducing his impact on the environment. This mindset will help explain the kind of car he drives today and why it fits his character so perfectly. Despite his fame and success, Robert Redford has always tried to stay grounded. One of the biggest reasons for this is his deep connection to Utah, where he's lived for many years. He bought land there in the 1960s and built a home near the mountains. He later developed this land into Sundance Mountain Resort, a place that reflects his love for nature, film, and community. Living in Utah gave Redford the space and peace he needed to think, create, and recharge. He has said that being in nature helps him feel more alive and connected. The mountains, trees, and quiet beauty of the landscape became part of who he is. Redford also values privacy. He doesn't enjoy celebrity culture and has always stayed away from tabloids and gossip. He believes that a person's private life should remain private. That belief has helped him protect his family and keep his personal relationships strong. Even as one of the most famous actors in the world, Redford never lost sight of what mattered most: integrity, honesty, and staying true to yourself. He's never chased trends or fame. Instead, he's followed his own path, guided by purpose and passion. And with everything you now know about Redford's values and lifestyle, you'll soon see why the car he drives today fits him better than any role he's ever played. So, what car does Robert Redford drive at 88? Robert Redford is known for many things: his powerful performances, his leadership in independent film, and his lifelong environmental activism. But what does he drive at 88 years old? That might surprise you. At this stage in life, many people might settle for comfort above all. Redford, however, has never been one to follow the crowd. Just like his choice in roles and causes, his vehicle speaks volumes. And the car he owns? It's a rare, breathtaking piece of automotive history. An Irish green Porsche 904 GTS, a car as refined, rare, and enduring as the man himself. Redford's Porsche 904 GTS is not your everyday vehicle. In fact, it's one of only 100 models ever built. Porsche designed this car in 1964 after stepping away from Formula One, aiming to create a race-worthy car that was still road legal. It's a low-slung, lightweight machine built with advanced fiberglass construction, cutting edge for its time, and a flat-four engine that made it ideal for competition and high-performance driving. Redford has owned this specific 904 for nearly a decade. Painted in Irish green, the car stands out for its quiet elegance rather than loud extravagance. The color, a rich forest hue, adds to its classic character, something that seems intentional. Over the years, the car has changed hands and colors. Originally silver metal, a silver metallic, it was later painted dark blue with a silver nose and eventually finished in the current green shade. Though some collectors might have restored it back to its original silver livery, Redford kept the Irish green, which speaks volumes about his taste. This isn't a car you drive for attention, it's a car you drive because you love what it represents. Beautiful engineering, timeless design, and a connection to motorsport history. Redford didn't buy this Porsche because it was trendy. He bought it because it means something. It's elegant, rare, and purposeful, like many of his greatest films. Bonhams, the auction house currently handling the car's sale, describes it as a vehicle with A-list credentials. That isn't just about fame. It's about care, legacy, and selectiveness. Redford, ever the thoughtful curator of his own life, saw something special in this car and chose it to be part of his journey. To understand why this Porsche matters, it helps to look back at Redford's past with cars. Through the decades, he's owned several classics. In the 1960s and 1970s, he was often associated with American icons: Ford Mustangs, Chevy convertibles, and vintage trucks. These cars were strong, simple, and full of character, just like the rugged, all-American roles he often played. Unlike many stars of his generation, Redford never flaunted flashy supercars or ostentatious luxury. He didn't need to. His personal style has always leaned toward understated elegance. Whether it was a convertible from the 60s or a well-maintained truck in the Utah mountains, Redford drove vehicles that felt natural, not excessive. While many collectors lean into excess, Redford's vehicle choices began to reflect balance and purpose. His interest in conservation led him to appreciate cars that respected tradition while embracing innovation. Though he has been linked to hybrid and electric vehicles in his everyday life, especially in Utah, where he has long championed sustainability, the Porsche 904 was a passion project. It's a tribute to craftsmanship and design, not pollution or consumption. It's also a collector's item. One of the most distinctive vehicles from Porsche's racing past, the 904 GTS was made to win, but built to last. That may be why it caught Redford's eye. So what does this Porsche say about Robert Redford in his late 80s? It says that even now he values quality over quantity and substance over flash. It shows that he's still someone who seeks meaning in the things he chooses, whether it's a role, a cause, or a car. The 904 GTS is not just a machine, it's a statement. It's an object of art and performance. It's rare, but not loud. Powerful, but not boastful. In that sense, it mirrors Redford's personality perfectly. Owning a car like this also shows that Redford hasn't slowed down in terms of passion. At 88, he's still a man who appreciates form and function and who finds joy in the details. For him, this Porsche isn't just about going from one place to another. It's about the experience, the quiet hum of a tuned engine, the way a car hugs the road, and the connection between driver and machine. And above all, it shows his lasting connection to beauty, simplicity, and enduring craftsmanship. He could have chosen any car, but he chose this. Robert Redford lives a private life, mostly away from the cameras. His home in Utah, nestled among the mountains, offers long, open roads, stunning views, and peace. It's the perfect place to drive a car like the 904 GTS. The twisty mountain roads and crisp air make for an ideal driving experience, not for speed, but for presence. While he may not drive the 904 every day, given its rarity and value, it's more likely reserved for special occasions. Redford has certainly enjoyed it as part of his personal collection. Over the years, there have been quiet sightings at film festivals, charity events, or even casual drives near the Sundance resort he founded. People who've seen him with the car say he treats it with deep respect. It's not a showpiece, it's a part of his life. For Redford, cars aren't just about getting noticed, they're about how they make you feel. Whether he's heading to a Sundance event, visiting a conservation project, or simply enjoying the quiet backroads of Utah, the car becomes a companion. In interviews, Redford has often talked about living with purpose. That extends to everything, including what he chooses to drive. The Porsche 904 GTS is more than a classic car. In Redford's hands, it becomes something else entirely, a piece of his personal story. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more legendary celeb stories.